I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. How? How does this keep happening? Bears lose 38-13 against the San Francisco 49ers on the road. And it just abysmal performance top to bottom. I don't understand how they go out of the tunnel and look that unprepared for 30 minutes and then put together a really solid drive, punching it into the end zone, and then just not look like a complete football team for the rest of the game. Look, expectations and reality have been completely different in these last 6 games. You got this game, the game against Arizona and New England, where expectations are, I expect this team to either win outright or at least be very competitive in this game. I think there's certain things, partly due to the team that they're playing, partly due to coaching, whatever you want. There was a lot more optimism in these 3 games. They've gotten the brakes blown off them in all 3 of them. They've looked like trash in all 3 of those games. The only difference is, in this one, they actually put the ball into the end zone. Still didn't mean anything because their defense couldn't do anything today. But then you look at the other 3 games. Those 3 games against, 3 of the top 4 teams in the conference. Oh, by the way, they are your 3 division rivals. You go in that game against Green Bay. Just destroy us. Please just beat us like 45-7. Please do it. They don't. In fact, the Bears they missed a blocked field goal away from actually winning that football game. That game against Minnesota. Please go out and, we had a little bit of expectation. We're like, if he can keep it close and they still lose, that's pretty cool. No one actually expected them to win that football game. And what do you know? They get beat, and then Caleb Williams was like, we're gonna actually fight back in this game. I'm gonna have some sort of backbone here. I'm not just sitting over and I'm not just sitting over and letting them do what they want. And then they go to overtime, lose. Then you're like back at this stage where it's like, just beat the brakes off us, Detroit. Go put up 50 points on us. Just do it. All right, just do it so we can fire Eberflus. No. It looked like that for a little bit. But no. In that second half, Caleb Williams became a god through 3 touchdown passes. Oh, by the way, no other quarterback still has thrown for multiple touchdown passes against the Detroit Lions. And then you have the most baffling end-of-game situation in a week for Matt Eberflus. And then the expectations are this. Like, all right, we fired the coach. Offensive coordinator becomes the coach. That's our strong suit. Let's see. The Niners are completely injured and they've gotten blown out the last 2 games. We got this. They in fact did not get this. They do not, in fact, got this. They got absolutely blown out. This game should have been worse than 38-13. It should have been closer to what we wanted Green Bay or Detroit to do. It should have been closer to 45-7. Are you kidding me? 2 total yards of offense in the first half? What is this? That's the lowest amount of total yardage in the first half of football in an NFL game this millennium. That is putrid. That is abysmal. And that is record-breaking. And trust me, us Bears fans, we have seen loads and loads of garbage first half performances. That just might have been the worst one. That may have been the worst first half I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll be honest with you, it should have been 28-0, but it wasn't because the Bears held the Niners to a field goal. It should have been 28-0. It really should have. They were getting the absolute crap beaten out of them. They were getting thoroughly crushed. They were dominated in absolutely every single facet of that first half. It seemed like they had no game plan. They were unprepared. They were like, let's just go out there and have fun. They had no sense of game plan. George Kittle was wide open on every single target, and if he wasn't wide open, he was breaking 3 tackles and then getting free. It is ridiculous. Jawan Jennings was just finding the open space every time. He had 2 touchdowns in the game and I think almost 100 yards. If he didn't cross 100, he was at least over 90. I mean, it was ridiculous what that first half was like. And the offensive line problems continued to be a problem once more. I'm telling you, man, how in the world does that happen against a Niners defensive line who is missing Nick Bosa? And you let them get 6 or 7 sacks on Caleb Williams? This is unreal how bad this offensive line is. Outside of Darnell Wright, he played solid. Braxton Jones had a couple times where he had a defender in front of him, but he kept pushing him back, lost that battle, and ended up getting Caleb Williams sacked. Pocket collapse, and then Caleb Williams tried to step up. He took a sack. It is ridiculous. You can pin 1 or 2 of them on Caleb. Whatever. It doesn't stop the fact that the offensive line had another legendarily bad day. Look, this is the 3rd game this season where Caleb Williams has been sacked 7+ times. That cannot happen. The interior offensive line is bona fide trash. Colton Shellman and Matt Pryor have played awful throughout the entire season. Tevin Jenkins has been hurt, and when he hasn't been hurt, he's been all right. He's been fine, but he continuously is letting the weakness of the other 2 guys on the interior O-line really affect his own play. Well, and part of it as well isn't just on the offensive line. It's the fact that receivers can't get separation, which is baffling considering the fact that there's Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Cole Kmet on the roster. How in the world can these guys not get separation? Is it a scheme problem? Are these guys just not playing at their best? What in the world is going on to where on some of these crucial plays, these guys cannot get open? Because Caleb Williams, I swear, I don't even have to look this up, I think it was 4 or 5 times, was sacked on 3rd down to end the drive. 4 or 5 3rd down plays ended in a sack to end the drive. And that is just baffling. I cannot believe that is what we're dealing with. Almost every 3rd down, we're seeing the pocket collapse and Caleb Williams gets sacked to end the drive. Now, there was 1 or 2 drives when they scored touchdowns where the Bears were actually able to convert mostly all 3rd down conversions. On their first touchdown drive the second half where they ate up 9 minutes of clock, I think they converted 4 or 5 3rd down conversions on that drive, which included the touchdown pass. So, it's not like they can't convert 3rd downs, but, they need to execute. Look, I will make excuses for players. I will make excuses, and I will pin stuff on coaching staffs. I will do it. But we're at a point now where we're 14 games in the season. If you can't get separation, we can't block as a unit together, that is solely on you, and you have to execute better. The defense needs to not be giving up these soft coverages. What's with the soft coverage all the time? Play to the guy's strengths. Jalen Johnson did a great pass breaker because he was in man coverage. Jalen Johnson's a man coverage guy. He's not a guy that goes out and covers great while playing zone. It shouldn't be rocket science. But these guys make it so difficult. It blows my mind how bad the players are right now. This is now that Matt Eberflus is gone, we have no more alibi. We have no guy to pick at. The team with all this talent and all the raw talent stinks. We can deny it no longer. This might have been the easiest game on the schedule left, which is funny to say considering the Niners with this win now are 6-7 and went to the Super Bowl last year. Oh, by the way, their last 4 games are against those 3 division opponents, again, who are, by the way, all at 9+ wins right now. And then Seattle, who, by the way, just beat the Cardinals, a team that you couldn't beat, and they beat them twice this season. And they're currently winning their division. This team's going 4-13 this year. I can't believe it. They were 4-2! And they can't win a single football game after that. This is a worse collapse than the 3-14 season. They were 3-4 in that season, too. And that was just a bad football team. There was like no talent on that team. This team cannot play together. This is a dumpster fire. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You look at the roster top to bottom, you sit there, you're like, I like the team. Team's pretty good. You look at the names on the roster, team's pretty good. But when they go out there, they cannot play. They cannot hang with even average NFL teams right now. Forget hanging with the rest of your division and all that and the top teams in the league. You can't even hang with average teams in the league and sometimes below average teams in the league. This is unreal. And now we're stumbling. I mean, pretty much the Bears have clinched with the loss. That's their 9th loss of the year. The Packers are in 3rd place of the division. They have 9 wins. So they've locked themselves into the bottom spot in the division again, by the way. They're going to get a last place schedule again, which I thought was going to be great this year because they'd have to play Carolina and New England and Arizona and Washington. But of course, doesn't matter because the team's just not good enough. And it's really frustrating to say because it's like, I like the guys on this team. These guys, when they play at their best, are really good football players. The thing is, they're not playing at their best all the time. And in some cases, they're not playing their best even half the time. It becomes a really frustrating dynamic. And this locker room has been lost since the Hail Mary. They've been at each other. They've been beefing with the coaches. All these problems in the locker room since the Hail Mary. And then this team is too talented to be 4-9 right now. I've said it so many times this season. The team's too talented to be 4-5. Team's too talented to be 4-7, 4-8, 4-9. The team just straight up is too talented. You've got teams like the Dallas Cowboys who are starting Cooper Rush and have all of these guys injured. Micah Parsons hasn't played much this season. And they've won 5 games. You talk about some of these teams that are doing more with less. The Bears have done less with more this season. And it just is unbelievable how much of a train wreck this season has been for the Bears. When we all had high hopes, and not even like high hopes of like we're winning the Super Bowl. I'm talking winning record, maybe playoffs. And we're not going to get either of those. Did I think that they were going to the playoffs this year? At the beginning of the year, I was like, this team on paper has a chance. If Caleb Williams can develop over the first 10 weeks, maybe they lose 1 or 2 bad games in that stretch. But if they're ready to go in the tough stretch of the season, then yeah, this team can go to the playoffs. But clearly, they were not ready. There have been several things this team's been trying to solve for years. And one of the things they figured out and honestly stumbled their way into figuring out was the quarterback position. Because Caleb Williams, despite taking the sacks, had a couple really, really nice throws again today. The other rookie that was drafted top 10, Rome Odunze, 2 touchdown catches. He had 1 all season coming into this week. And that first one in the corner of the end zone, mwah, perfection. I mean, a beautiful catch with his legs like spread out with little to no room to go, instantly closes them in and is able to plant them in the corner for a 6 as a rookie. That is a phenomenal catch. That is a pro-level catch. The awareness was there today from Rome Odunze, and he caught another one in the middle of the end zone just a little later. But that was pretty much it. DJ Moore had a couple catches that he kind of scrambled away. I mean, like, that's really it. Swift was a non-factor. Roschon Johnson didn't play, so we got some Travis Homer. I know a lot of people are very happy that we saw Travis Homer again after them refusing to play Roschon Johnson early in the season for Travis Homer. I just... They're... And it's like... The Niners scheme was phenomenal. These guys are wide open because they've got linebackers covering them. Tremaine Edmonds was cooked. T.J. Edwards was cooked today. Again, it's an absolute abysmal performance from the Bears today. And it's like, I don't know how you go. You have 10 days to prepare for this game. You have a new head coach. You try to, work out some of the problems that had transpired when Matty Eberflus was coach. And then you go out there and you stink up the joint like that. That is just embarrassing. And honestly, I think that game alone, right there, with that, all you need to do, and honestly, all you need to do to show that Thomas Brown should not be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears is show that graphic at the end of the first half where the Niners have, I think, over 310 yards of offense and the Bears have 2 of yards of total offense in the first half. That is, I think, that in itself right there, in combination with the score being 24-0 at that point, is all that you need to know about that. Hey, Thomas Brown, it's no hatred. You did a lot for Caleb's development. But this was just a bad performance. At least you were honest with the guys in the locker room. And I'm hoping that you're honest during the press conference, because I haven't watched or heard anything from it yet. Because if you're able to be accountable, that's one thing that you will forever be able to hold over your head is, I did that better than the coach and the coach that I took over for. Anyways, there's a very, very good chance they go to 4-13 this year, which could be a good thing, possibly. Probably not, because whoever they pick in the first round, which with that high draft pick, won't change much. They'll hire some lame duck coach. Team will struggle. Caleb Williams doesn't get off his feet. He leaves the team in a couple of years, excels somewhere else. The Bears get laughed at. And then they're back in this position in the next 3-4 years. I mean, we all know what's going to happen unless they make the right hire. They have to make the right hire. This is one of the most important choices in franchise history. And they need to nail this. This is a crucial moment. The crossroads are insane. You make the right choice, this team could be good for a long time. You make the wrong choice, and this team just continues this wheel of incompetence and this cycle of futility where they just make wrong choice after wrong choice after wrong choice. Man, there's never just a game where it's okay, you got beat. All right, next week, please. That hasn't been the case at all this season. The only one that feels like that was the Texans loss. And that was only because it was week 2 and it was the game they were expected to lose, and they only lost by 1 score. Every other game this season has either felt like awesome, great win, or just deflating. Tough loss in a 1-score game in a brutal way, or getting absolutely destroyed. There is no middle ground of just, you just got beat. They're just getting destroyed or they're losing in heartbreaking fashion. There is no in between. But what is certain and what is consistent, they're losing football games. They've lost 7 in a row. Anyways, I got nothing else. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Hit that subscribe button for more content from me. Keep the conversation going in the comments section. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.